What's going on, everyone? Alex here. Thank you for tuning in to another video. It's absolutely gorgeous Tuesday afternoon in the sun in the winter here. And I was talking to a client the other day about how he was struggling with performance and feeling confident in what he termed high stakes situations like public speaking, meetings, interviews, that kind of thing. And for any of you guys who find yourselves, you might be in a working situation or in the stuff that you do, you'll find yourself in moments where the sense is there that you're being tested, or the sense is there that you're there at an event that is demanding a lot of you, and that you want to be delivering your best self, and you want to be making a good impression on the people around you. But of course, what is so common in those sorts of situations where you're having to get up there and show yourself and be exposed in that way is that we tend to get nervous, and we tend to overthink things, and we can be our own worst enemies in those high stakes situations. And he was talking about how he struggled with this for many years. He's in his older years, and he struggled a lot since his teens in just sort of feeling relaxed, feeling confident in those situations. And he wanted to move to the next level and feel better in those moments and perform better in those moments. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and also to use his phrasing, which was that he was working on reprogramming his brain, and he feels that he's not there yet. So obviously the idea that one needs to reprogram one's mind in order to be a better performer is an interesting topic that I wanted to share my own 2 cents on. And I wanted to throw this in the mix. It might not necessarily be the be-all, end-all approach, the be-all, end-all answer to this idea of reprogramming the mind, but I wanted to share my perspective on it, and stir up a little bit of debate around this, and prompt you guys to share what you think of this idea in the comments. But this idea of reprogramming one's brain, reprogramming the mind, in order to be better, in order to do better in life, in order to be rid of all the struggles and pains, insecurities and doubts, and ultimately anxieties that we can feel physically. It's a very alluring idea to reach a point in our lives where we feel fearless, and we feel like there's no struggle anymore, particularly in the kinds of situations where we want to do well in. And so I think a very common trope that society continually spits out and continually supports is this idea that we need fixing, that our brains can, at certain points in our lives, be affected by traumatic events, and because we go through these difficult experiences, we take on baggage, we take on a shift in our brains in some form, whether it be physical build-up of material and or just dodgy memories, or whatever it is that we feel the need to analyze and structure so that we have better minds, we have more effective, more peaceful minds. And so this idea proliferates, and I'm sure you've come across it yourselves. I'm sure you've even considered the need in you to reprogram yourself, to fix your brain, to process and heal trauma and all this stuff. So having given this a lot of thought and looked into my own insecurities and anxieties over the years, and try to make sense of this, and seen various people's perspectives on this, I'm now of the opinion that reprogramming the mind in the way that we think we need to is not a thing. I think that we're already where we need to be, and the insecurities that we seem to have, and the build-up of traumas that we seem to feel, and the blocks and the mental struggles that we seem to possess, are simply reflections of thoughts we have around our limitations, and nothing more than that. And of course, when you think of a thought, when you look into what a thought is, it's simply it's an ethereal, formless, well, I guess you could say that it has form, but it's something that arises in our consciousness and then floats away. There's nothing physical about a thought. And as I've spoken about in many other videos, the power that a thought has is very strong. because a thought essentially creates our reality. A thought is something that comes up and we can feel it. If we entertain a negative thought, we can feel the negativity of that thought. So when people talk about having kind of lodged trauma or stuck memories, and I know that this is going to cause a lot of controversy, because whenever I've written about this stuff, I get an angry mob banging on my door, but I wanted to see if I could clear this up through verbal communication. A lot of people see the power of their own thinking, so they might have a thought pattern, a certain type of thought that comes up a lot, and they will feel that thought a lot, and it will look like it's something lodged in their bodies, because we experience the emotional impact of our thinking. So when people talk about reprogramming the brain, you're sort of talking about trying to reprogram how we think, which is probably the better way of looking at things. So if you feel the need to reprogram your mind to feel better, what we're really talking about is changing our habitual thought patterns. So many of us, for whatever reason, we've all have different histories. We might think of certain things, whether it be standing up on a stage or receiving a tax bill or meeting our father who might have given us hell when we were young. I'm not saying that happened to me, but we all respond to external surroundings differently because of how we process those external surroundings through our thoughts. So when we talk about reprogramming the mind, reprogramming the brain, we're talking about restructuring or changing how we think about things. That's the reality. That's how things can change for you. If you're struggling around a particular thing, maybe it's public speaking, right? Then in order to be better at public speaking, in order to experience more peace around public speaking, where previously you might have struggled with it, it's about changing how you think about it. And the cool thing about thoughts is that most of the struggle, in fact all of the struggle when it comes to thinking, relates to buying into the thoughts that come up about the thing. So if you have negative thoughts about public speaking in the form of, I'm an idiot, I'm not very good at public speaking, I've always sucked at public speaking, I'm not a natural, I'm a bad communicator, all those thoughts might come up. The difference between you a year ago and you today could be that you just don't listen to those thoughts. You let them float by, as opposed to buying into them and thinking, yeah, they're true, or thinking, yeah, there's some truth in those thoughts. And of course, if you believe the thought, you're going to perform poorly because you're in the reality of your thinking. And this is the point I'm trying to bring across to my client here, is that all of this thinking about you needing to be fixed and there being a physical issue within you that needs restructuring is slowing your progress, because it's creating the impression that there is something physical that needs healing or dissolving or whatever it is, or rewiring, when in fact that is not the issue. The issue is that you're having certain types of thoughts that you're buying into that are informing your experience, your emotional experience. So in this example, in order to perform better during public speaking situations and high stakes, high nervousness situations, we need to look at what's actually going on in our minds during those moments. And what's happening is that he's getting on a stage and he's thinking things about himself that aren't helping him and are making him feel stunted and nervous. And I'm sure you can think back to moments yourself where you have got on a Zoom call. I don't know what your individual challenge is, but you will inevitably have felt, if you have performed badly, you will have felt all of that critical thinking and believed it as if that thinking was your sort of personal slave driver. So the big difference is between performance, doing well, relaxing through a process versus struggling through a process, is that we are either in our thoughts or we're letting go of our thoughts and being present and enjoying the moment as best we can. And it's as simple as that. So I could talk about this for years, but I just wanted to draw attention to the idea that we complicate mental health and we complicate confidence incredibly. And we do it by creating all of these apparitions and ideas within our minds that look as if there's more to overcome and there's more work to be done, and you'll find that you're going to be on your deathbed with the same problems, with the same challenges, the same concept of needing to do something to fix yourself, and you will die like that. That will be the end of your life, and you will have missed so much because you have created a wall around you that has given you the impression that there's something that needs sorting out in your mind, whereas in actual fact, I guess the only thing you could say would need sorting is simply to let go of the negative thoughts that previously guided you. And that's a habitual practice. So it's about changing your day-to-day thought practice. And in a nutshell, it's basically what everyone else ends up saying in every book on spirituality, in every talk, video, and course on confidence, consciousness, spirituality, peace. It's being more present. So it's as simple as that, really. It's really about redirecting your attention from, I have a problem, I need something to, it's a self-conscious thing, and that's going to bring you down. If it's about you're going to be lost in your own prison of self-fixing. And I'm going to be upfront here and say that I think a lot of people actually enjoy being in that position. They enjoy telling someone else that they're a victim of their own circumstances and they can't do anything about things, or they have something that needs fixing because it gives them an excuse. And if you can let go of the need to have excuses in your life, you're going to be free. You're going to experience your true confidence. And in that sense, being present is a very courageous act for many. This is why so few people experience presence and just being willing to redirect one's attention to the beauty of the moment and not get lost in who you think you are and who you think you're not, which will just continue to derail you and preoccupy you, and it's literally an insane act. So all this stuff about reprogramming and stuck trauma, I'm not saying you didn't experience a traumatic event. This is what a lot of people can get angry about. They say, oh, how can you be the arbiter of what happened to me? You don't know me. Well, I don't, but I do know that we can make lives very complicated for ourselves when we buy into this idea that we have things within us that need fixing. The only thing that needs fixing is your attitude. I sound like an angry teacher, but the only thing that needs fixing, I would say, is feeling the need to grip tightly to all of this thinking about who we think we are and what our stories are. So I'm going to leave you with that, guys. I don't want to natter on too long, but I wanted to share this because I think it's valuable. I think it could be pretty fundamental in terms of helping a lot of us get past all of this self-limitation and live more peaceful, happy lives. So that's it from me for today. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you found some value here, and share this. I know that it's not a commonly done thing, but share this with your friends if you think that they could benefit. Like the video, and do drop me a comment down below about what you think and what you want to hear from me next on. Take care, guys.